My mom passed away when I was 7. My dad remarried, so I had a stepmom, and my dad worked a lot. But we always had food. We always had a roof over our heads, so I can't complain.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But we were definitely like, hey, you got one pair of shoes, you better make them last all year.
There you go.
And there was a sense of appreciation, like you got to take care of your stuff. There was no roadblock there. There was nothing other than, for me, I wouldn't say the word legacy, but I want to leave my kids with something. Like I don't come from a
Legacy.
I don't come from a whole lot, and I just thought, you know what, if my kids can say, and maybe it's prideful, maybe it's just like, yeah, that was my dad's company.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's
huge.
that's huge. And that, to me, that's like great, guys. Like, I don't need to give you anything, but if you say, oh yeah, my dad this, and, it's like, I want you to be proud of me just as much as I'm proud of them too.
Where are your deals sort of funneling from?
You're gonna think I'm crazy, but you want to know how big my marketing budget is? 100% zero. I don't spend any on it. Very dangerous word, but I'm very comfortable with where I'm at and what I've created over this time of being able to learn to slow down and put my family first, in that time. So these deals, though, if we're talking about where they're getting sourced at, they're sourced word of mouth.
So this is part of the revival of downtown Tulare.
The idea behind this project was pack a punch. And so the problem we were solving was everybody my age, 38 years old-ish, around there, all my friends, we have kids. Where can we go around here and have a beer and it not be a bar, And Barrel House down the way, that's kind of a great strategy. You can have all your kids, they just serve beer. It's not, they have food trucks. That's a simple concept.
Right.
Let's do it here. And that's really all it was. Don't put yourself in a box of comparison. Like, go out there and do the work, because 1% every day better, you will blow past probably 95% of anybody out there trying to do it if you did 1% better every day on it.
What is up, people, and welcome back to another episode of the Property BRRRRothas. What's going on? I am your host, Jordan, along with the Numbers Ninja, my cousin, my partner in crime, Drew. What's good?
What is happening, man?
Man,
It's good to see you. Hey, can you believe this? We are in the same room
again.
again.
Hey, man, we are
Again.
in person.
So
So,
not only a room,
a tap room. Dude, we are live, ladies and gentlemen, on location in Tulare, California at the Tapyard. And we have a very, very special guest today. Man, this guy, dude, Drew, this guy, man, to my left is a real estate investor. He is an entrepreneur. He is doing so many great things for our community here in the Central Valley. Mr. Adrian Herrera. Adrian, what's up, baby?
Yeah, what's up, man? Thanks for having me here and allowing me to speak to you guys as people. And
Yeah.
man.
well, I mean, dude, you're allowing us to speak to you. You're allowing us to pick your brain, peel back the layers, and kind of really explore who you are.
Yeah.
The man, the myth, the legend. I just met you, so I feel like I'm in the presence of royalty,
Yeah.
right? And this beer, let me
Yeah.
just tell you.
It's great.
Now, guys, I'm not a beer drinker, but this
He loves his wine.
I love my wine. But this right here is amazing. This is a
Yeah.
stout.
Yeah.
Now, where did you say this one?
That would be from Kauai Brewing, right here located in Tulare.
This is great, guys. This is really good. And what do you have?
Dude, I got a hazy IPA from Salty Walrus.
Yep.
Right here in Visalia, California, man. So shout out to all the local breweries out there, man. We are representing y'all really strongly here. So today, Drew, we are going to peel back the layers on Mr. Herrera's story and, just how he got into space, why real estate. Listen, so you are a Tulare boy, born and raised. Your roots are in Tulare, man. Just tell everybody, like, who the hell is Adrian Herrera, man?
Yeah.
Like, who are you? What do you do? And what is it that the value that you're bringing,
Sure.
right here?
I put my pants on just like everybody else.
That's right.
I'll be honest there.
That's why you got a time.
I'm nothing special, but I'm definitely not afraid of risk. So if there's anything that Adrian Herrera comes with, it's like I'm okay with taking some solid calculated risk. And some of that is numbers based, right?
Yeah.
I could be analytical sometimes, but sometimes the risks we take come from my heart and come from kind of mission a little bit. So if I want to see, XYZ happen, it's like, well, how is that going to help solve the problem that we have? And is there a business angle to it? And that's it. So, and that's probably Corey's side too, is more the mission part.
And Corey's your wife?
Corey's my wife. Yeah.
Okay. So you guys are partners?
In everything. Yeah. Partners in everything. So she's very much the vision behind everything.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of the manager and direction of whether we're flipping something or building, mixed use buildings or whatever. I'm just the numbers part and construction manager, and she's my design. So
Wait, so hold on. Cut. Sounds like we need Corey here.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I'm just kidding.
yeah. No, she's so we have an 8-month-old, so that's where she's at.
Yeah.
There we go.
But
There we go.
So
We had the chance to meet your 8-month-old
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
And just as an aside, so Corey and I, we go back. We used to school teach together back in the day when she was a teacher. So that's how Corey and I know, and that's how I met Adrian through Corey. So yeah, man, they are doing so many great things. So
Adrian, take us back, man.
Yeah.
So you grew up here.
Yep, born and raised.
All right. Like what part of Tulare?
Yeah, so I grew up on the west side of town, which is kind of your, that's the west side of Tulare.
Yeah.
It's, I wouldn't call it the ghetto. There's great spots over there, but I grew up in would be better in F Street, and so near the railroad tracks, and it was a little tough.
Was it the good side of the railroad tracks? You always hear the stories. You're walking across the railroad tracks, like, oops, I'm on the wrong side.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot to be said about being on the wrong side or the right side, right?
Yeah.
I would say I'm sitting here in a basement in a mixed-use building that we did, and so I would say I was on the good side because somehow, some way, it led me to do the things that I'm doing now. But it came with its challenges, right? Like we didn't grow up with a ton of money. So my mom passed away when I was 7. My dad remarried, so I had a stepmom, and my dad worked a lot. But we always had food. We always had a roof over our heads, so I can't complain.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we were definitely like, hey, you got one pair of shoes, you better make them last all year.
There you go.
And there was a sense of appreciation, like you got to take care of your stuff,
Those are like those life lessons that without them, you question, would you be where you are?
Yeah, for sure. Right. I mean, it's hard now as like a dad, you see your kids need new shoes, and you're like, let me just go buy new ones. But it's like, oh,
Right.
don't do that. It's easy, but you really want to let them learn the lesson to take care of their stuff. And anyways, so that's kind of I grew up. I grew up with a lot of outdoor, like playing football in the streets, baseball in the streets. I have a lot of friends that in that realm, that age between say 6 and 18, that I ran the streets with, and all the good ways and all the bad ways.
Right.
So I got the best of both worlds there, and of course just built relationships throughout the years. And then, but Tulare's been home. I remember that this is home, and I remember coming downtown. I remember coming down here to Downtown News or whatever, or Blue Moon used to be a thing, where you walk over there to the little store. So there's a lot of deep roots for me here. It's home. And so for me, it's I love seeing the ability for us to figure out ways to, one, yes, it has to be profitable, but how can we pour in, create experiences so that our rival city, Visalia, which is an amazing downtown, it's like, how come we can't do that?
Right.
And the answer is we can. It just takes a group effort. So everything we've done down here has been multiple conversations with multiple people with multiple visions, having like, hey, how can we make this? So yes, I have a big project here and it's doing well, but it's really a bigger story. There's other branches to this tree that are coming out, and other people are doing other things, and we'll see them all come out, and Tulare's going to turn around. Yeah, we're confident. Yeah.
So, I mean, you had to get your start somewhere, some inspiration. What inspired you to say, you know what, I want to put this city on my back and, let's go up against our rivals?
Yeah. So it didn't really start that way. It didn't start off as like let me try to revitalize downtown. So taking a little further back, 10 years ago, real estate, I got into real estate, and I started off really well. I was really blessed to have kind of the success I did up front.
Now, when you say you got into real estate, what does that mean?
Yeah, so I was in sales for quite a few years at AT&T before that.
Oh, AT&T.
Yeah, so I've always had a sales background, and I did that for a long time.
Yeah.
I was very much commission-based guy. I was very much like trained to find where I can put in value and solve a problem for somebody, but at the back end, unfortunately, you benefit, monetarily from solving their problem.
Yeah, but
that's what we do. Yeah.
You're hunting for your next check.
So
Entrepreneurs do, man. We solve
that's what we do.
problems.
That's it. And short and sweet is like, I am a professional problem solver in many things, and I really take that to heart. Like, I'm a very good problem solver, and I can do it efficiently. So, so I got into real estate. AT&T, I was working. Corey was working, probably with you at the time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and we ended up buying our first house, and this whole process of buying a house was very foreign to me, obviously, right?
Yeah.
We ended up closing on this house, and all these things got said to us that were going to happen,
Yeah.
and they never did.
Right.
So I thought, this dude just made a paycheck, and he really wasn't that honest with us. All these things kind of got left out, and I told Corey, hey, what if we change this experience, and what if I go get my license? Because if if someone who's not going to be honest fully makes that kind of money, then what would an honest person do? And literally, that was the only trigger to getting a real estate license. That was it. I didn't have this intention. It went out, do what I do now. Yeah, I just kind of folded that way.
Yeah, just kind of organically started with, look, we did have a great experience.
Yeah.
If I could just provide somebody a great experience, like that's a game changer.
So many success stories start that way, where somebody pissed them off by not doing what they were supposed to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know what? I could probably do this better.
Yeah.
Right.
And even knowing what I know now today, doing and have been, I think I've probably maybe close to 1,000 transactions in these 10 years. But doing all that and then seeing that, I'm like, that could have been totally avoidable. But I'm so thankful he didn't, because I wouldn't be doing what I would have felt no reason to get into real estate.
So you got into real estate, did it just fit like a glove for you?
So I was really scared at first, because you go from hourly commission type security job to, and I was like, I don't know about all that. And then I was like, oh, this is easier than I thought.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a like a big-headed way. I mean, like, I was just solving problems, finding houses for people. And that's the great thing about real estate, is you really don't have to sell anything.
Yeah.
Real estate kind of sells itself. Right. I'm just there to provide like value. I'm there to back you up legally. Like, I know how to do that really well. I don't have to sell you on the house.
Yeah.
That's a different game.
Yeah.
But so anyways, it just came naturally, and so anyways, first year, hit it right off the bat. And then of course, all the problems came with it, with being really successful really fast, was taxes.
Right.
And taxes.
You weren't putting money
taxes. I said, Social Security, what?
Yeah.
So, being self-employed, and at that time, I ended up getting paired with an amazing CPA. And I can honestly say that because of my conversations with him, because of my once I learned, oh, that's what business owners do. That's what wealthy people do.
Yeah.
That's the way you play the game. And so when I learned that from him, I scratched the surface on what I learned. And since then, I've dug way deeper. But then I learned, depreciation. Let's go. And so we started buying rentals, and then buying and flipping and all that other stuff. So it was more so opening my mind to the CPA and tax strategy advantage than opened me up to investing, because my family does not come. My dad worked in the fields.
Yeah.
Then he was a janitor. My stepmom worked as a janitor. She had a daycare. Like, investing wasn't a thing. If you had $10,000 in your savings collecting 0.01%, you were in a good spot.
Right.
Little did we know about money market accounts or bonds or things like that. You learn that as you start digging deeper.
You don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. So, yeah.
That's awesome, man. So
That's great.
I mean, it sounds like it was a complete evolution, right? So you got groomed in the sales world at AT&T. You got tough skin through that experience, right?
Yeah.
And then you went out there and you're like, all right, I'm going to try this real estate thing. You did that for a while, had some success. A lot of real estate agents, you don't see them making that leap from being an agent to an investor, right? And so you're saying that sparked because of your CPA and saying, hey, listen, you got a big tax bill this year. Here's how we can avoid that going forward.
Yeah. And also advising like other guys coming up and saying, hey, there's this house I want to buy. It's really cheap. They're like, you want to flip it? I'm like, okay, sure, you can flip it. And then you see all the things that happen, and you're in the, you're the audience, just like rooting them on, and you see all the numbers happening. You see how I can do that.
Yeah.
And then, all right, it's not as hard as it seems, And so, that's what kind of got into flipping stuff. But
that's cool, man. So you've got this success going, and then over the last 10 years, dude, you're killing it, you're crushing it, and then you decided to open up your own real estate.
Yeah.
Right? BRRRR Real Estate Group. Yeah. So talk to us about that, maybe peel the layers about that, and how that kind of organically kind of blossomed into what it is right now.
Sure. Yeah. So when I first got started, I was with Anderson Real Estate Group, which was part of Keller Williams.
Right.
And what they did was, and it's still awesome to this day, I still think about it. They did a disc profile when I first got my real estate license. They're like, who can we pair you with? Fill this, answer all these. It's like an angiogram, but it's a disc profile. So I fill it all out, and they're like, yeah, you're going to work better with that guy.
That's awesome.
And I'm so thankful, because I love him. He's great. And took me under his wing, and it didn't take me under very long before I was like already flying out, and then we were just rolling out together. So, and then of course over the years I was with him for I'd say about seven years, doing really well. And then I thought, you know what? I think it's time to fly out of the apartment and sell out of the house, and move out. So that's what I did. It was nothing to do with anything other than it was time, I think, for me to just kind of do my own thing. And
Did you feel like you were hitting a ceiling?
no, not at all. No, not at all. And I mean, if anything, it's still going. Like there's no, there was no roadblock there. There was nothing other than for me. I wouldn't say the word legacy, but I want to leave my kids with something. Like I don't come from a
Legacy.
whole lot. Yeah, I don't come from a whole lot, and I just thought, you know what? If my kids can say, and maybe it's prideful, maybe it's just like, yeah, that was my dad's company.
Yeah.
Like to me, that's
huge.
That's huge. And that to me, that's like great. You guys, like, I don't need to give you anything, but if you say, oh yeah, my dad this, and, it's like, I want you to be proud of me just as much as I'm proud of them too, But I want to leave them something. So that's all it was for me.
It's great.
I love it, man.
We love the legacy play, dude. And, all three of us, earlier today, we were at our school, Alpine Vista, and we were doing a leadership career day. And as real estate people in the space, investors, agents, what have you, we were talking to kids about that, about legacy and creating wealth, the generational wealth. So that's so apropos that you bring that up, man. So, dude, you are, like Drew said, man, you're a local kid, man. You made good, no silver spoon, right? You're grinding, you hustled, and bro, like you're still so grounded, man. Like that we can pull up and have a beer with you. That's awesome. So now, as an investor, dude, so like, okay. So what makes, what's your motivation to kind of keep, like the Central Valley, and what is it about the Central Valley that has like, a play for investing? And so for our audience, we talk to them about cash flow. We talk to them about the BRRRR strategy and appreciation and things about that and things of that nature. But in the Central Valley for California, we were talking about it off the show, about, dude, you could be in LA, right? You could be in San Diego, you could be in any coastal market, but you decided to stay here. Well, so what is it about the Central Valley that, maybe has some niches in it that, that are marketable for investing?
Yeah. So, it might be a bad thing, but I'm comfortable here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, plain and simple, if you give me a house address, I don't need to look it up. I know where it's at.
Yeah.
I can tell you, give me the size. I know the comps.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all in here.
Yeah.
I don't need a computer for that. If I have an issue, I can send someone of my guys that I trust to work on my stuff here.
Right.
And it's funny because me and Corey were talking about on the way home. It's like, how come we don't invest out of state? And it's like, because we like to see everything. And we like to see it, want to touch it. I want to go buy it, want to know the tenants.
Yep.
I would say every single rental we have now, we know every single tenant. They're not just like random people.
Mm-hmm.
These are people we know.
Yeah.
These are people we trust. These are people that like we would give our shirts off our back to help them, So for us, it's not so much, that we wouldn't do out of state. It's just, we're so like, our hearts are so deep in here, that
Rooted in here.
Yeah. So we love the ability to help other people, whether it's providing them a place, and of course they're paying rent.
Right.
We don't have any that are like free or anything, but like we know, so that matters to us,
Yeah.
On the flip side of things, when Corey's like, hey, there's a design, like, hey, what kind of design you need? This thing makes sense. We got this XY budget, carpet, paint, pick a color. I don't care.
Let's
Let's move
go.
on to the next one.
Yeah.
It's not for her. She's not going to do that. She's going to say, no, this house was built blank. I want to use this kind of tile. Like, that's $200, $300. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But
We got a budget. Come on.
because she's speaking to more of that. So we kind of balance each other out. I'm like, okay. And then, of course, all the time when it's done, it's always like, yeah, you were right.
Yeah.
It really does.
I mean, that finished product is like, okay, I see your vision.
And it's our name on it. Like, we're not standard flippers. We don't do 10, 20, 100 a year. We don't. We do like 3, 4, 5, maybe solid ones.
Yeah.
That have our names on it. That it's done. It's done.
Yeah.
It's done right. We don't take corners. It takes us a little time, but hey, it's done right. So fantastic.
That's cool, man. So for our audience, and our audience knows that we invest out of state, right? We invest in Indiana. There is that, that fear of like, kind of investing out of state. Like, you can't touch it. You can't, necessarily meet the tenants. But having a familiarity with the area can kind of translate not only locally, but out of state as well. So I think that's really good that that you bring that up. And for the Central Valley, in general in California, don't sleep on it, right?
Yeah.
Sleep on it. There's a lot of good things to offer here. Drew, do you have any follow-ups?
Yeah, man. So I have a question for you. So obviously a lot of our folks are rookies or they're just getting started. They may have been thinking about getting into the game for a long time. And of course, like Jordan said, we talk about, hey, easier way to get involved rather than investing in like California, where it's extremely expensive. We suggest investing out of state. Give us your take on that. If you were starting over today, how would you go about it? What's some recommendations that you would give to our audience on how they can get started in their home state?
Yeah. Well, I would say the first thing is to come up with a plan to build capital, right? So I don't know what that looks like. Sometimes, so, if you're going to buy something here, you probably need to have more capital than you would if you were buying in any other state.
Right.
Probably every single
Probably the most capital besides maybe New York.
That's what we call a side hustle.
Yeah.
But in this case, multiple sides. Right.
So building capital, it would take you a little bit longer to get something here. But the appreciation rate's probably a little better here. The rents are probably a little higher. If not, I don't know what that looks like over there. I've never studied those markets, but I'm assuming the California lifestyle is a little more expensive.
Yep. 1,000%.
Yeah. So I would say if I was starting today and if I was high in liquidable, if I had high liquid, high cash flow type of business and I needed depreciation, I would probably still stick to California. Mm-hmm. But if I was starting out and, dealing with a tighter budget, and you wanted to invest in real estate, then looking at other options for sure.
Yeah.
But I would, if I was still wanting to invest in California, because I love California, so I'm not going to break away from that one.
Yeah.
But just find a way to build up enough capital to start with one. That's probably the hardest, is one.
Right.
Yeah.
The second one, maybe even the first two. After that, it gets pretty easy.
Yeah.
I mean, not easy. It's way easier than the first and the second combined, So, and I would say here, you're probably chasing a mixture of maybe minimal cash flow, but higher appreciation.
Right.
That's probably the case, especially if you're using debt leverage.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe other spaces may give you the cash flow, but it's just a slow pace, So I guess it depends on what kind of marathon you're running. Everybody's running at the same pace. So, and it depends on the client. Like if someone had a high cash flowing business in California and they needed to maximize depreciation, and I got with their CPA and they're like, dude, we need to spend 20% on real estate.
Right.
I'll find you the deals here. I doubt they're going to go out of state.
Yeah.
But if they're kind of more, on the skinnier side, then they're probably going to explore those, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I've heard horror stories on both ends.
Yeah.
Trying to hear and trying. It's no one bats 1,000. So you got to be okay with the risk first of all. So
the other thing too is like you started in real estate as an agent, right? So I've heard that a lot of times when you want to get your start, maybe just figuring out how you can participate, whether you're a loan officer or, an agent or, you're a caddy for a real estate agent, however you can get into the game.
Yeah. Just get in the room, right?
And start to have those conversations because, how many deals have been brought to you that nobody else knew, right? Because you were in the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 1,000%. All right. So just to kind of pivot a little bit about, the real estate investing. So how are deals brought to you? I'm real curious to know, are you sourcing your own deals? Do you have leads that are coming in, that are off market? As an agent, having the background, you have the MLS, right? So that's certainly an advantage. What is it that Adrian Herrera will swipe right on, right? When you're like, nah. So where are your deals sort of funneling from?
You're going to think I'm crazy, but you want to know how big my marketing budget is?
Tell us.
0.
There you go.
100% 0. I don't spend any on it. And I don't do it because, not that I'm afraid, but I kind of am. Because when I first started real estate, selling 100 houses plus a year is no joke. It is no joke.
Yeah.
You're running 24/7.
Yeah.
And it pulls a life out of you that is not worth, you can't get it back.
Right.
I missed soccer games. I missed the first goal. I remember missing the dance practices and the dance recitals. because I was chasing 14, 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm no longer willing to do that anymore. And
Yeah.
I won't even negotiate with it.
Yeah.
So like, I don't want to market because I'm afraid I'll get busy. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't want to.
That's huge.
And so I'm very, again, very dangerous word, but I'm very comfortable with where I'm at and what I've created over this time of being able to learn to slow down and put my family first, you know, in that time. So
Yeah.
these deals, though, if we're talking about where they're getting sourced at, they're sourced word of mouth. I can't tell you how many times we've all heard the term wholesaling. We know that that could be that's a ruthless world. And to me, you got to have skin thicker than I don't even know. That is a tough game, and it's tough for the right people and easy for the wrong people. I know that might sound kind of weird, but this is why it's tough, and especially being a real estate agent and a broker. Like I carry a license, and with that license, there's ethics involved.
Right.
Right. So when I'm wholesaling a property or there's an opportunity that comes and the family's coming to me screaming like, hey, you know, so-and-so just died. We need this $100,000. Can you give it to us for this house? Like, no, your house is worth 150. Why are we doing this? Because we need it next week. Okay. Because I'm the agent who doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Now, if it's the last option and there's no way I can help solve this problem for them, I'm not going to turn it down. But I'm not going to wholesale it. I'm going to fix it up and flip it. And I usually invite the family back. Like, look at mom's house now.
Yeah.
That's what I see. It's different for us, you know?
Yeah.
It's not just chasing a return. So, on the wholesale side though, like I've seen many people in that opportunity where I wouldn't say take advantage. They're basically given an opportunity and they take the opportunity.
Right.
But I don't. There's other ways to do this too, where it satisfies my soul.
Right.
What's right with, you know, me and my faith and
Yeah.
my family and what I can sleep at night. And so I'm the kind of guy that will get them the best deal that I can, not just chasing an opportunity that's someone else has hurt.
Right.
So that's how a lot of my deals actually come, is because I've done right. A lot of them also come through the way of legal, whether it's, you know, divorce or settling estates or probate. Families need to settle those out, and they're typically out of state, don't care about properties, and
Right.
there's no, you know, so that's how they come there too. And then those guys will refer. So that's all it is. Yeah, referral based business. That's beautiful.
That's dope, man. That's really empowering, man. It's about relationships.
There's 100% relationships.
It really is.
That's what's all about.
That's why I'm not worried about AI.
There you
Yeah.
go.
That's why I'm not worried about
That's true.
Yeah.
like, you know, I have no idea how much work it is for that relationship.
Yeah.
Like, it's, you know, it's genuine. It
really is.
AI. You can make it seem that way, but no.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. It's authentic. Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's people
it's people
serve people. Right.
solving problems and being good at it.
And I think, man, you touched upon a point that we try to, you know, as we talk about legacy, you know, being an example for our kids, being able to come home at night, look them in the eyes and say, hey, we stayed above board. We were good. We made some good decisions.
Yeah.
And, you know, you will always be proud of the legacy that we're creating. For you. That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge, man. That's cool.
And the stigma of being in sales and being commission based, right? Like,
Right.
the word we use all the time is used car salesman, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
No.
We're
Nobody
not
wants
sleazy.
that. Not even the used cars. I mean, there's a lot. I would say 99% of all the agents here in Tulare County are all great people.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just that 1% that kind of like rubs us all the wrong way, and all of a sudden everybody's, you know, it is bad word travels faster than good.
Yeah, everybody gets kind of lumped in
Yeah.
with the bad
So,
apple.
yeah.
You know, that's interesting that you say that, because, you know, just to kind of go back to our little career day, you know, one of the things I told the kids was, you know, look at us. You know, do we look like a bunch of, you know, sleazy car salesmen or big bad, you know, real estate tycoons? And they're like, no. I'm like, dude, we look like your parents, you know, we look like your teacher, like, I am your teacher, like, we are your neighbor next door, right? You know, we're people just like you know, and so I think that's really important, and to not lose sight of that. So, dude, that's awesome. So, what I kind of wanted to pivot to was, so with our audience, man, we are kind of telling people how you can still have a W-2, right? And you can invest in real estate.
Right.
So can you speak to, you know, just based on your background and where you've come from, you know, why owning real estate matters for the working class folk?
Totally. I mean, at the end of the day, like, appreciation is a hidden gem, and you're going to get that through real estate. I think if you take somebody who works a W-2 job and sets aside, you know, 10% into a savings account, that's because that's what they've been told. That's
Right.
what they do.
Mhm.
And you take the same person and they put, X amount aside for, and they put in a money market or put in a bond and it's growing faster than the rate of inflation. This is the goal. Like, you just got to figure out a way to grow your money faster than the rate of inflation.
There you go.
Because if you're falling behind it, even if you're saving, if you got $50,000 in your bank account, it's
Yeah.
still going 0.01.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to tell you, but that money is running backwards.
There you go.
And you don't even know it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you haven't been taught that. You just see
Haven't
50
been
grand and think, "Ooh, I got a nice cushion."
Yeah.
But that cushion is nothing.
Right.
And so you gotta just figure out ways to do it. So holding real estate,
Holding
real estate, holding
That's
real
key.
estate will create an opportunity at some point, if you hold it long enough, that will be probably pivotal to your whole entire family's dynamic and wealth and everything. At some point it will.
Right.
And I don't know when. And I'll use this COVID era as an example.
Mhm.
We can even go back. I wasn't in the real estate industry when houses were selling for 50 grand around here, but I know people that do and have 300-400, door rental portfolios, and they will sit there and they all say the same thing. I was only ready and I got lucky on timing.
Mm.
This is it. You're not going to time the market of
Yeah.
when you're going to be able to blow your, BRRRR strategy and it just triples up. It's
Right.
going to happen at some point. It will.
Right.
But we don't know when. So again, the market crashed. He just happened to have money ready to invest, and he was ready to go at that time.
Yeah.
And so he got lucky.
Yeah.
Had he been ready in 2006 or 2007, be a different ballgame. But he was just ready at the right time. So we're not going to time these things, but having real estate as part of your portfolio, when that market rate drops significantly, when values appreciate because you've had it 10 years and you've been paying that loan balance down, and all of a sudden rates go to blank, and all of a sudden you tapped into 200,000 in equity, and now you could borrow it for 3%, like we just saw happen post COVID.
Yeah.
That was the next move.
Yeah.
That was the next movement. That if you had real estate that you bought that was kind of okay, and you were just $100
Yeah.
cash flows,
Yeah.
that immediately became a tool to borrow and buy more.
Yeah.
Right.
Immediately.
Immediately.
But did you plan that? No, you didn't.
No.
It just happened. So it's just, yeah. So if you hold it long,
Time in the market.
it's time in the market. You hold it, and eventually at some point something will happen, and you will be ready. That's it. So you're just staying ready.
That's awesome.
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
Those are some gems right there.
Yeah, that's a pro tip right there from Adrian, man. Dude, that's awesome, man. Okay, so look, we are live on location, right? We are at the Tapyard. So, dude, you've broke down your backstory. You broke down how you got into real estate and everything. So we're sitting in the Tapyard right now. This is your baby, right? So this is part of the revival of downtown Tulare. So kind of talk to us about how that came about, why the Tapyard, and, just kind of, we talk about legacy. We talk about balancing as dads, as full-time dads, as full-time W-2
Employee.
advertising agencies, all that. How does balancing your life, your business, your real estate, all of that, how can our audience kind of tap into that? That might be on the cusp, like, hey, I can do this, but how do I?
Yeah. So I think again, it's how do I get to their whatever my goal is?
Yeah.
Insert XYZ goal. How can I get to there faster?
Yeah.
And you realize quickly that when you start doing one property, it's like, okay, this is great.
Yeah.
I'm not discounting that. It is perfectly fine.
Slow and steady.
Slow and steady. But you start realizing, dang, to get to my goal, I'm going to have still hit a lot more singles and doubles to make
Yep.
this work. Because you're not going to hit a home run all the time, but
Right.
every once in a while you will.
Right.
And so you realize, well, what if I just had a bigger project, multiple doors under one door, right? So you go from, single family, like, oh, wait, duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes. Now, my company does manage, so I self-manage, but I have a gal that manages for me. And when you start, if I took the same amount of doors and I spread them out to actual individual properties, it just made the workload that much heavier.
Right.
But if I condensed it, and instead of having, 20 single families, what if I had one apartment unit that was 50 units?
Boom.
Boom.
Yeah.
One spot. It's all, yes,
Yeah.
acre only one basket. I'm not recommending this, but I'm just, just saying that this is kind of the idea I'm getting behind.
You're a risk taker.
Yeah. Yeah. So the idea behind this project was I feel like I need to go big. Pack a punch, but it be in manageable one spot. And this was a really large risk. We're in a downtown that is, you know, I don't know what kind of word to use there, but insert whatever word you want there. Downtown, dead, zombie, whatever.
Yeah. It definitely needs to be revitalized.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And
to put it,
yeah,
politically correct.
So we bought it with this intention that we were going to be the first ones to take a building and put in some type of tap room. At that time, we didn't have an idea of owning the tap room, although we do now, but that wasn't the idea.
Right.
And so the problem we were solving was everybody my age, 38 years old-ish, around there, all my friends, we have kids. Where can we go around here to have a beer and it not be a bar,
Right.
And Barrel House down the way, that's kind of a great strategy. You can have all your kids, they just serve beer. It's not, they have food trucks. That's a simple concept.
Right.
Let's do it here. And that's really all it was. And then, so I spent a little bit of money, insert a little bit, really tall though, in actually education.
Okay.
In getting, so I'm working on my CCIM designation, which is a certified commercial investment manager.
Okay.
And going through discounted cash flow sheets and learning that internal rate of return is just greater than analyzing caps. So when I started to learn all that and really understand it and speaking the CPA method of depreciation and tax advantage, I'm like, oh my gosh, what does this look like? And I put this whole deal together on my sheets and I'm like, wow, it makes sense.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. And then, so since then we also purchased a motel. I did the same thing. It's like, how does this make it look sense? And those sheets are made, if you know what those are, your listeners know what they are, use them because they help you check the elasticity of what you're really dreaming.
Wow.
Because if you put numbers in there, you can always make the numbers work.
Right.
You always
True.
can because
Yeah.
you control the numbers that you put in.
That's true. You can massage them.
You can massage it, but on this discounted cash flow sheet, or quote a pro forma, something similar to that,
Yeah.
you can put some realistic numbers and it will smack you in the face with some truth.
Mm.
And you're fudging them because you're having to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Vacancy is way less.
Yeah.
Oh, I can get this much in rent.
Yeah.
It'll tell you.
Yeah.
You'll know if you're way too off. So use that as a way to kind of measure your risk taking and your elasticity to your deal. So but yeah, here we are. It's fully occupied. This is a triple net lease. In a 7-year term, I have this, it's pegged at just over 16% internal rate of return.
So triple net lease. So can you peel that back a little
Yeah.
bit? So what is a triple net lease for our audience that may not, quite know what that is?
Sure. A triple net lease is what you should have on every single lease. So,
Right.
imagine this. Single family, this is totally made up by the way.
Yes. Yeah.
But imagine you had a single family, you rent your house. Imagine they paid your property taxes and your insurance.
Yeah.
What other expenses do you have? Assuming you have no debt left.
Roof.
Seriously.
Sure. But in a triple net lease, they can cover those two.
Okay.
So triple net lease is basically they cover all the expenses of being the landlord. So yes, I'm the landlord, but the tenants have a distributed percentage of my costs. So for example, the insurance on this building came in at about $16,000 this year. That's all distributed based on the percentage of retail space that they rent.
Yeah, that different.
And so it's included in their rent. So their rents aren't exactly the same all the time. Sometimes they'll go up a little bit, but for the most part but they cover property tax, insurance, fire alarm inspections. They cover all of it. All my bills are not my bills. They're
Yeah.
spreads. I share all my bills. Which you're going to see a lot of triple net leases in the Amazon world where they lease a lot of triple net leases, single net, or triple net national tenants. So you your Walgreens, your Carl's Juniors, your McDonald's, your AutoZones, your Dollar Trees. These are all national tenant triple net leases. That means the guy goes in, he drops X amount of dollars. Those cap rates are typically lower because it's national tenants, they like to pay. So at Starbucks, right? People own those, but all the expenses are 100% covered by the actual tenant.
That's fantastic.
That's mailbox money for you.
Dude, 1000%.
I got a question for you. How big has goal setting been in your life? And at what point in time did you start to make goals?
Yeah. It always starts off with the goal. I mean, there's no part of any of this that didn't start off with let's do this and this is the target. That's always existed. Even in small things, there's a goal, right?
Yeah.
So for us, I clearly remember this one. When I first started, it was a big deal for us. And I mean this in the best of part. When Corey and I saved $10,000, okay? This is not the right way of saving. So this went into a regular savings account that did nothing. When we saved $10,000, we decided that every single 10,000 we saved, we're going to go to dinner because it was a big deal. You know, when I got married, we didn't have much. We didn't not have anything, but savings accounts were like $2,000-$3,000.
Right.
And that was like, oh, we got
That's a cushion.
yeah, I was like paycheck to paycheck, but we were living okay and spending and not having, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And then, but we said, hey, when we get 10,000 as real estate, let's go to dinner. Went to one dinner, went to two dinners, you know, went to three dinners. And then it's like, we stopped going to dinner.
Right.
Because we kind of like outgrew the goal. And so and I mean that again in a wholehearted way.
No, that's
Trying to
Yeah.
be any, you know, like I said, I put my pants on like you guys every
Yeah.
you know. But I was doing really well.
Right.
And then we decided, well, now we're going to go, hey, let's go to dinner when buy another rental. Instead of that, you know, you kind of upgrade that goal and then it's like, okay, well, what's our cash flow goal? Like, oh, it's going to be blank. And when I say this cash flow goal, to me, it's truly passive. I don't want to do anything.
Yes.
So it's not that I don't want to manage. It's not that I don't want to do anything. I want someone else to do it all.
Yeah.
And then I just want to be like living my life, right?
Right.
And that number was 50 grand.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like if I can get to 50 grand and do nothing, income comes in, then that's my goal.
Yeah.
Right. And so we've been hammering on that goal. And so I know we're going to get there, but it's all been reinvested. Everything we do, we're trying to recompound that investment and recompound that so that we can get there quicker. And you know what? That number started way less. Right. And it keeps growing. And I think,
right.
I think I don't know if it's a sickness, but it's a sickness we have because we reach our goals and we're like, well, that wasn't high enough.
And it's kind of like lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's you know, we have an accountability group that we belong to, and every morning we jump on a call with multiple entrepreneurs and we declare our goals, right? And they're legacy goals. And the reason that they're legacy goals is because they are like goals that you probably wouldn't be able to achieve unless you come up with a creative way to do it, right? So we're consistently challenging ourselves to creatively think outside the box on how can I achieve this goal by the end of this year, right? And every day, every week, every month, we have different goals outlined that we have to hit to help us to trek. So, I mean, that it could be a moving target. Like I think this year, one of our guys achieved his goal in a quarter.
Yeah.
In a quarter. And when he said it before, it was like, you're not going to be able to do that in a year, but he was able to do it in a quarter.
Dude, he was grinding.
That's the power of your mind.
Oh, for sure.
Right. And so that's one of the things that we like to talk about to our audience is manifesting, putting it out there.
Oh, yeah.
Declaring that goal, visualizing that goal,
Yeah.
and becoming that goal.
Yeah.
Crafting goals.
Crafting.
Yeah.
All that crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. And you can insert any awesome quote that talks about all that. There's so many, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, no,
That's
for
cool,
sure.
man.
Goals
That's
are
dope.
goals.
That's dope, dude. All right. So we are the Property BRRRRothas, right? So emphasis on the BRRRR. So Adrian, talk to us. BRRRR. Have you executed a BRRRR before here in Tulare?
I sure have.
Yeah.
It's been a while because the dynamics have changed here, but
Yeah.
and I told you this outside of this.
Yeah.
If you can master the BRRRR method here,
Yeah.
then you will master it anywhere
Anywhere,
because
right.
it is a tough market to try to make that execute with cash flow. You can
Yeah.
execute it, just whether the cash flow makes sense or not.
Yeah. Just may have to leave some money in the deal.
Might have to leave some money in the deal for sure to make it work. But again, something will change at some point, and it'll work out. But yeah, I have. I actually, when I heard about this, it was probably like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
When I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like,
Right.
wow, that just seems too easy.
Yeah.
The concept is like, it was in front of your face the whole time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so we did it on one, and it worked like a charm.
Yeah.
I think I actually got paid on that deal.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah,
by
yeah.
the time I bought it, by the time I rehabbed it, by the time we put it as a short-term rental, at the time the market was just booming for short-term. And then refinanced it. I was like, wow, that made too much sense. How do we get more of those?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I think I made like 20 grand on that deal
Yeah.
and still was cash flowing. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, that's crazy. But ultimately, you can't control interest rates. I mean,
Yeah,
truly
you can't.
can't.
Right.
The only thing you can control in that strategy is the first letter.
Buy.
And that's where you have to focus on. Is like if you can buy, you can still make it work here. I'm not going to say you're going to steal it. You're going to have to find one with some serious opportunity and someone who's seriously just like they're here.
Yeah.
The thing is, they exist, and they probably one closes every day probably around in our county.
Yeah.
So you just got to sniff it out.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's important, right? Buy.
You got to buy right.
Got to buy right.
Right.
Yeah.
But it goes back to what you were talking about with your sheets. We have sheets as well where we're like, listen, you got to work those numbers and you got to use real numbers. You can't inflate your numbers. You know, you got to look at the property values, you got to look at what the comps, et cetera. And if you actually use those numbers, you'll be able to tell whether this is going to work or not.
Yeah.
Right.
And one of the
That's
things we looked at on that deal that we did on the it was in Three Rivers, California, and the short-term rental market industry there is amazing because of the national park, right? And it's a ton of like traffic there. And so when we bought it and when we refinanced it, like, well, you can go up higher than that. I'm like, no, because I put it at a number where at the end of the day, I was buying a short term. If I needed to convert it to a long term, I wasn't going to lose my butt.
There you go.
You know, so like if it didn't pencil as a long term, it didn't pencil as a short term.
Right.
That's the way I took it.
Right.
So luckily that one worked out really well. And again, the timing was right.
Yeah.
So
One of our buddies, he uses the number 65% on the ARV to make sure that everything works at that number.
yeah,
Right.
And everything after that, it's just great. If it can work at 65,
Yeah.
and you know it's working at 70 or 75, and then,
it can take some solid shots and it recover. Just fine.
Right.
And by 65%, ladies and gentlemen, we mean the LTV, the loan to value ratio, man. Okay, so a lot of things that we talk about have to deal with the rehab and have to deal with the contractor. So
Yes.
tell us, give us just like a horror story of a contractor and what makes a good rehab in this area, like in Tulare County.
Yeah. So I probably don't have much value to contribute to that one because I've
Okay.
had the same guy do all my rehabs for the last 10 years.
Dude,
And I don't know how that all worked out, but he was at a plumbing job and I pulled up to give a friend of mine at the time was a plumber. And I was like, hey, are you hungry? I'm going to grab a sandwich. You want one? And he said, yeah. So I just stopped by. I just asked him if he was hungry.
Yeah.
He's a friend of mine. One big deal.
Yeah.
I took him a sandwich and he goes, hey, you should meet this guy. He does, work or whatever. The rest is history. Met him and he's been doing work for us for well over the time that we've been investing.
Amazing.
And we're talking everything from this building to everything in between. And I've been so blessed with that guy because we've had times where like we'll get a flip and actually we're closing on one next week.
yeah.
And he already knows the plan. He knows. So, but we'll be like almost done with it. He goes, hey, I guess I'm ready to get paid. I'm like, oh, send me an invoice. So we just,
There's trust.
just go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's been times when we've gone all the way through the thing closes escrow. I'm like, dude, when are you going to send me an invoice?
Right.
Yeah.
Mind you, he's been working on it for 3 months.
Yeah.
And
But that's passion.
Yeah.
I love that he has.
yeah, no, totally, it is, and it also speaks to the trust that I've created with him. My wife has a great relationship with like the decorations and the decor that they're picking.
Right.
They're all on the same page, and he's just super appreciative. We appreciate him. We love his family, and yeah, we actually try to get that guy to take vacations, but he's a worker, man.
Yeah, he does.
I don't have any like horror story
That's fine.
stuff, but yeah, we've been really blessed with it. And honestly, we go at the pace he can. So if I pick up a flip and he can't get to it, guess what? It sits.
It sits for a minute. Yeah.
I'm not gonna. If it's not him or his cousin,
Yeah.
no one else is touching it.
Yeah.
I'll just wait. And because we got a lot of other things happening in our pipeline that are beyond real estate, like businesses and other stuff. So
Yeah.
I want to be able to not worry about it.
Well,
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I mean, the moral of that story is when you find someone good, you hold on to
Yeah,
them.
and pay him. Pay him.
Yeah. Pay them on time.
Yeah, pay him
Yeah,
on
yeah.
time.
Let them work.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
1000%, man. Any big mistakes that like you've made that, maybe new investors can avoid?
Yeah, totally. You control the numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't fudge them. Sometimes your heart can get in the way
Ooh.
of making that deal work.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And so you found a deal, and you're trying everything in your mind to make it work. I mean, I'll tell you right now, if you're trying that hard to make it work, it's probably not the right deal.
Yeah.
But it's hard when you're so invested in the time, and you finally found one that's somewhat on the hook. It's hard to let that go. But
Yeah.
the power is being able to say no.
Yeah.
If you
Right.
can master the power of no, then you're gonna do really well.
That's on
Yeah.
That's
So
Yeah, that's good, dude. Because like we've talked about that a lot. IT's Drew, and everybody knows he's the numbers ninja, right? And we break down the numbers, and we always say the numbers have got to work. It's just math, right? The numbers will tell you; it won't lie to you. So that's huge, man. Thank you for kind of echoing.
for sure.
We've been, educate people.
I'll add one more piece that something I've learned along the way is who you pick as a partner truly matters. I mean, and I'm not saying in the smart, like, everybody can be a good partner when you're all winning.
right.
Everybody can.
Right.
Everybody can put on a smile. Everybody's going to high five each other.
Yeah.
That's not what you're looking for.
Yeah, when the tough times
When
happen.
the tough times come. So, like, for us, I want to know that I can walk through fire and we still walk out holding hands on this deal.
Yeah,
Right.
And so I learned through, I wouldn't say a big loss. It was very minimal. It wasn't even supposed to be a flip. It was supposed to be a hold because people weren't on the same page. It ended up causing some friction, and I realized, I got burned a little bit.
Right.
So now you're ready to let go, and I'm sitting here squeezing, and I'm the only one squeezing.
Right.
So it's like, this ain't worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. So, I would say having a partner that can walk through you with fire and have, within reason, the same amount of like open-mindedness of how this is all going to pan out. Have an exit plan. Know what you're going to go do afterwards. If you lose or you win,
Right.
and just make sure they can do that with you. But I think that's huge too.
That's absolutely huge. And that's one of the things that we actually covered that on that episode, like choosing your partner. What does that partner bring to the table?
Mhm.
It can't just be money.
Yeah, those are hard money guys.
Yeah, those are hard money guys. It's got to be some value. You guys have to be able to ride or die for each other,
Mhm.
right? I'll take it. Yeah, man.
One of the reasons I didn't bring a partner on in this project, which is a very large project, and it's just me and my wife, so I guess I do have a partner, my wife.
Yeah.
But we didn't bring any outside investors, is because if you look at all the data on this deal, it says you should have never have done it.
Mhm.
And this is where the heart got
Right.
dragged in.
Yeah.
Right.
And then luckily it worked out. But
Yes.
that sometimes isn't the case. And if I would have had another investor come in, we're talking big money here. I could lose a friendship. I could lose credibility. So I decided that risk wasn't worth any friendship or long-term investment. So I did it myself.
Yeah.
But now it's been proven.
Yeah.
So now what am I getting? Hey,
Yeah, all these
got some deals.
Yeah.
I'll do this.
Yeah.
And absolutely, it's like, this is what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
You open the floodgates.
That's it. And let's do this together, and let's do it all, work together. And because we'll get more through community than we will, like, yes, you're racing against yourself, but you'll get more done with community and help around than you will trying to do it by yourself.
100%. So that's beautiful.
That's beautiful. I love it.
Dude,
I love
this
it.
has been amazing.
I know. Hey,
Has been.
I got just one more quick little game for you. Okay. It's like a rocket fire.
Okay.
All right. So this is called pour one or pass. So if it's something you agree with, just say pour one. If not, pass. Rocket fire.
Okay.
You just don't think about it. Just tell.
One is I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once you agree, pass.
Okay.
Disagree. Okay. Here we go. Burr or flip.
Or one.
Pour one. Burr. Love it. Okay. Are you single family or a multi-unit guy?
Multi-unit.
Oh, nice.
So he's pouring.
He's pouring
Pouring.
the multi-unit.
Pouring.
Love it.
Yeah.
Home office or storefront? Where are you pouring?
I currently pour both.
Hey,
There we go.
Yeah.
love it. Pacifico or IPA?
Oh, Pacific all day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, I got IPAs and Pacificos in my fridge right now, so I'm both guy.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. If you could have your own podcast, who would be your dream guest? Maybe you think just a little.
You know what? I know it's no one famous, but I would bring my CPA on because he would deliver some massive value.
Dude, that's awesome.
Like whatever that is.
Yeah.
So,
We're talking about this guy.
well, let me tell you, I actually did do an interview with him.
Yeah.
The problem is, and I see these guys on social media, a lot of CPAs,
Yeah.
they're taking on such a legal opinion sometimes. So my guy, I love him, but he's like, maybe we don't do that because there's some legal liability when I'm saying stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of it because sometimes he can be a little aggressive on the tax code.
Yeah.
And it's all within the right reasons, but someone who, whatever reason, can call and say, hey, this guy said this.
Yep.
And so I props to all you, social media CPA investors dropping knowledge because you ain't afraid of the bulls.
Yeah.
But, I think that's his thing is he's just like, he'll give you the value without a camera on and tell you everything, but put him on a camera.
Maybe we could bring him in and just have a shadow and then change his voice a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like they do all those like police detective.
Exactly.
Another guy that would be massive value, even like Jason Pritchard, right?
Okay,
From
yeah,
the area.
yeah.
Like, dude, that guy he just pivoted all his single family, multifamily flip wholesale stuff. He's doing like land development. So like, I guess
Okay.
when you think of, like I was saying earlier, how you hit singles and these little houses. It's like, okay, takes 20 of those to equal one of these.
Right.
So it's like all your resources go to one instead of 20.
Yeah.
I think I haven't told him this, so I don't know if this is, if he watches this, I don't know, but I see that he's done that exactly through his career. Like he's done singles, flip, wholesale, and he's amazingly successful with that. And you realize, you can make 7 figures on one land deal. It's done properly.
Right.
And the risk is proper.
Yeah.
And now he's like, and you know what? I say it now, it wouldn't surprise me if he's doing 10 a year, doing 20 a year, swinging with the big guys, because that's how he is. He figures it out. And he's got a ton of knowledge and he loves to share it too. So,
That's tight.
Yeah.
Yeah. We might have to bring him on, man.
Yeah.
Dude, this has been incredible.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for your time, your knowledge, your wisdom, and just sharing your experience with the audience. So, this has been super special.
Yes, sir.
Super.
Yes, sir. So just in part, man, just to kind of close out, if you could tell your 20-year-old self, what would you tell your 20-year-old self?
And 20, huh?
Stop chasing them girls.
Put the cake down.
Yeah. Probably, I don't know. That's a good one, man. I'd have to probably think about that one, but maybe just like, chase your own dreams and not someone else's,
Yeah.
Like, the world around you can be very chaotic, especially 20 years ago, we didn't have, or when I was 20, social media wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
I see it in my kids now where, they're not on social media, but you can see it in the kids now. Like, there's a lot of comparison going on, and you can become victim of just feeling down about yourself because, hey, that guy has 10 doors and I only have 5.
Yeah.
That guy has 1 door and I only have 0. It's like, dude, they started with 0. Everybody did.
Yeah.
And so don't put yourself in a box of comparison. Like, go out there and do the work, because 1% every day better, you will blow past probably 95% of anybody out there trying to do it if you did 1% better every day on it.
Dude, that's beautiful, man.
That's powerful.
That's so much said, dude.
That is powerful.
Adrian,
Yeah.
where can the people find you, man? Like, you have a Facebook, Instagram. Where can people find you, man? Let them know.
So I think my tag name is Adrian Herrera RE.
There you go.
Okay, or Adrian.A Herrera RE.
How about your businesses?
Yeah, so Tapyard at Tapyard Tulare, Guest Equity at Guest Equity. We manage just over 100 short-term rentals and boutique motels. And then Drive Box is another one, so it's a virtual golf lounge. And then, let's see which one, I'm missing one of them.
What about real estate?
Oh yeah, A Herrera Real Estate. That's my name of my brokerage. So
Nice.
yeah.
Beautiful.
Man, and we didn't even tap into the whole short-term game and how the
Well, we just have to bring it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that market has dynamically shifted, where most of those guys now should be in long-term holds, but that's just it.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, that's what it is.
Dude.
Unless they're in resort.
That's been good, man.
Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, thank you guys.
Brother.
Yeah,
So, people, man, we are so thankful. Look, if you are out there, man, on the sidelines, thinking about getting into this space, man, DM us, ask the brothers, man. Reach out to Adrian, dude. Reach out to the Property Brothers. You know where to find us. We'll put it all in the show notes, baby. So for Drew, my brother, the numbers ninja, for Adrian and the Adrian Herrera group at Tapyard, I'm Jordan, and we are the Property BRRRRothas. Peace, y'all.